Hi, and welcome to Movement Mondays. I'm Alex Weaver. For tonight's class, all you'll need is a yoga mat or a towel, something comfortable enough to lay down and do exercises on. I don't think you need a chair for anything today, but it's always nice to have one just in case. And then water. So I'm going to just check the stream, make sure everything looks good. We'll get started here in just a few. All right, cool. So like I said, for today's class, all you'll need is a yoga mat or a towel, something comfortable enough to do exercises on, and then some water, and then perhaps a chair or something that you can use to sit on and put your body weight on. So we'll get started here in just a second. So as always, if you have questions, please feel free to comment on the actual Thunderwell stream. If you comment on the stream elsewhere, I probably won't see it. So if you have a question, you need to repeat something, go over something again, drop a comment in the stream on the Thunderwell Facebook page, and I will be happy to answer a question. So, all right, let's get started with a warm-up today. So we're going to start with some walkouts. So you're going to walk your hands out into the plank position, extend fully, and then walk all the way back. Stand up nice and tall, reach for the ceiling, and we're going to repeat 5 times. I think we have 2 more. I might have just lost count. All right. So we're going to walk our hands out back into the plank position. Bring one leg forward, open up toward that side, and then switch which leg is forward. And we'll do a few reps per side. Perfect. Then we're going to flip over and lay on our back. So laying on your back, your feet are going to be hip width apart. You're going to engage your core. Press up with your glutes and hamstrings. Hold for 2 seconds and back down. So keep that core engaged. You're pressing up, holding, back down. We're going to do a set of 16. 2 more. And go ahead and flip back over. This time we're going to be on our hands and knees. We're going to do a set of 5 cat cows, inhaling up into our spine, exhaling down, letting our chest drop towards the floor. All right, so go ahead and lay on your side. We're going to do sideline thoracic rotations. So one arm extended, one hand behind your head. You're going to have your knees stacked on top of each other. So you're laying all on one side of your body. You're bringing that elbow towards your wrist, and then keeping that other shoulder on the ground as far away as you can, and back. So we're going to do 5 per side. And switch sides. Switch which side you're laying on. Same thing. Knees are stacked on top of each other. Great job. So standing up, we're going to do a set of arm circles forward. And then backward. And then, so stand with your feet at least hip width apart, if not wider. You're going to come down into a deep squat. Sit there for a few seconds. Keep your elbows on inside of your knees. Come up into a hamstring stretch. Back into that deep squat. We're going to do this a little faster than normal today. Back up to the hamstring stretch. Back into that squat. Up into the hamstring stretch. And then one more time, back into that squat. And then all the way up into the hamstring stretch. And stand it all the way up. And then we're going to do a few more things. So let's go ahead and lay on our stomach. Arms outstretched. We're going to do a set of swimmers for 8 per side. So you are raising opposite arm, opposite leg, just like this. For 8 per side, 16 total. And go. Great job. few more things. So let's stretch our calves. So you can do that by putting your foot against the wall, the side of the chair, something similar. And then slowly leaning in. So taking a few deep breaths. And then switching which foot is on there. And then last but not least, if you have a wall or a chair, maybe help us stand near that and put your hands on it. We're just going to do some leg swings. So just like this, coming across your body, slow and controlled, allowing that hip to open. And we'll do 10 to 15 reps per side. And switch. And shake it out. And that is it for a warm-up today. So anything else you need to stretch, you feel like it's tight, go ahead and stretch now. I'm going to walk us through circuit 1. So our first circuit today is YTAs, plank to downward dog taps, or just a regular plank, single leg RDLs, and side plank for 30 seconds per side. So let's start with the YTAs. So a couple variations. If you have some yoga ball or couch cushions, you could do elevated YTAs. I would kneel and rest your chest on either the couch cushions or the yoga ball, depending on what you have. You're going to come up, bring both arms up to make a Y, and then out to the side to make a T, and then back to make an A. So Y, T, and A, just like that. If you do not have something you can use to elevate yourself, you can also just do these laying on the ground. So again, you're making a Y, a T, and an A. So Y, T, A. Next up, we have plank to downward dog taps or plank hold. So for plank, no matter what variation of a plank you're doing, you want to make sure you're keeping that core engaged. You don't want your low back to be doing the work. So if I'm starting in a elbow plank and I start to feel like my hips are dropping towards the ground, I'm going to reset and then come up and make sure that my core is engaged. So likewise, you can do a kneeling plank, you can do a tall plank on your hands and knees like this, or in a full extension. Any of those are fine. To be able to do the plank to downward dog taps, you have to be able to do a plank on your hands in extension. So you're going to be starting in a plank like this, pressing through into downward dog, and then tapping the opposite shin and coming back. So each time you're resetting to that plank position, tapping the opposite leg after you push back into down dog, and then reset again. So you can also, if you don't want to add in the tapping, you can do a plank with tapping like this, or you can even just do where you're shifting like this. So any variation is fine, but just try to maintain a plank for that time period. Single leg RDLs, you are standing on one leg. I'm going to show you my leg with worse balance first. So you're standing on one leg, other knee is slightly bent. You're going to allow the knee of the leg you're standing on to bend a little bit as your hips move back. You want to pretend that your torso and the leg that is not touching the ground are all moving as one piece. So slowly coming back into that hamstring and glute, and then coming forward, just like that. So if you feel like you struggle with balance, you can hold on to something. So notice how much easier these get when I'm just very lightly holding on to the rack here. So we'll do those for a set amount of time per side, and then we'll switch. So lastly, we have the side plank in this set. So you have two options for your side plank. You can do partial extension, where you are starting with your knees stacked on top of each other and bent, and then you are coming up, making a straight line from your head all the way to your knees and keeping tension from where your knee is making contact with the ground all the way through your armpit. So all of this is braced. Or if you want to do the harder version, you can extend fully, and same thing, you're coming up. So now everything from my armpit all the way through my ankle is braced. So this is going to be the full outside of your body you're working. So that's going to be our first circuit. I'll call out times as usual. Let's start with those YTAs. Let me change what our timer is set to. Perfect. So I'm going to grab a sip of water, and then I'm going to start this 10-second countdown. Okay, so 10-second countdown. And we are starting with those YTAs. And go. Great job. All right, so another 10-second countdown, and then you have plank to downward dog with tapping, or just a plank hold. So 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. Okay, so let me reset the timer and turn my fan up here. All right, so we're going to do 30 seconds per leg for these single leg deadlifts. So we'll have a 10-second countdown, starting now, and then 30 seconds per leg. And go. Great job. So 10-second countdown, and we'll do the other leg. Oh, I guess I can just stay bitching that way. And go. Great job. Okay, so we're again doing 30 seconds per side for these side planks. So pick whichever side you want to start on. Give a 10-second countdown. And go. And 10-second countdown. Same thing, other side. And go. And grab some water. So we will repeat that whole circuit here in just a minute. In the meantime, I'd like you all to appreciate my Florida socks. Shout out to Florida, my home state. All right, so we're gonna get started again in just a second with those YTAs. Just reset the timer. All right. So 10-second countdown, and we are back to those YTAs. I'm actually gonna do mine elevated this time. Feel free to switch up how you're doing these if you have something you can elevate on. And we'll start in 10 seconds. Great job. Okay, so next up we have the plank to downward dog taps, or just a regular plank, or some variation in between. So 10-second countdown. We are back at it. Go. Great job. So let me adjust the timer. We are doing 30 seconds per leg for these single leg RDLs. So 10-second countdown. Ten-second countdown, switch sides. And go. All right, so side plank. Again, 30 seconds per side. So 10-second countdown. And go. Whew. And 10 seconds. Switch sides. And go. Great job. So grab some water, and I'm going to talk us through circuit 2. All right, so circuit 2 today is lunges rotation, or you can do lunge variations without, but lunge rotation will be the most difficult movement. Bird dogs, wall sit, and push-ups. So lunges with rotation, I like to hold something when I'm doing lunges with rotation. I'm going to use a 5-pound weight. So if you want to do these forward, you can do these as forward or reverse lunges. So you're stepping forward, rotating, stepping back. So each time you're rotating toward the leg that's to the front. So if you do these as reverse lunges, same thing. You're stepping back, rotating toward the leg that's forward, and then switching. So here, rotating, here. So a couple things with lunges. You want to make sure that when you're lunging, your knee is staying to the outside of this imaginary line where your big toe is. So if you're over here, you see how I'm already almost falling over. I'm not able to stabilize as much. So by keeping your knee out, you're activating that outer hip, which is going to give you more strength to come through. Secondly, you want to make sure that as you're coming forward, you're not slamming your knee into the ground. You can bring your knee to the ground if you want, but it's going to hurt if you're slamming your knee to the ground every time. And then lastly, you're making 2 90-degree angles with your back and front knee each lunge. So if you don't want to do the rotation, you can just do either like a forward lunge with a rotation, or you can do reverse lunge. Either's fine. You just want to make sure that you are keeping good form. And if you want to do a non-lunge, you can do like standing knee taps or step-ups onto something instead. But really listen to your body and kind of adjust those as you need to. Secondly, we have bird dogs. So bird dogs we do quite often. So you are on your hands and knees, you're bracing your core, and then you're reaching with opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping that core engaged as you reach. Alternating sides. Wall sit. So for wall sit, I'm going to say we're going to do 45 seconds, but I'm going to also call out time every 15 seconds like I do anytime we do a wall sit. You'll need a piece of wall that's exposed that you can put your back into. You're going to sink into the wall. You're putting your weight evenly through your foot, so my weight is distributed into my heel and my toes. I am engaging my glutes, hamstrings, quads, core, and sitting up against the wall. So, and also again, I'm creating that 90-degree angle on my knees. So that's your wall sit. And then last but not least, we have push-ups, which you can do any variation you'd like of. So I'll do easiest to hardest. So starting, if you're newer to push-ups, you can do wall push-ups, where you are keeping your core engaged, allowing yourself to come towards the wall. Your elbows are coming out at a 45-degree angle, so not super high, not super tight, right in that sweet spot in the middle. You're trying to keep your shoulder blades down and back, so you're pressing from your chest, and you're keeping your core engaged like you would during your plank. So next variation from that would be, you can do push-ups where your hands are on the chair, elevated. You can do kneeling push-ups, where as it sounds, you are kneeling, coming down, pressing up. And then lastly, you can do full push-ups where you're coming all the way down, all the way up in that tall position. So any of those are fine. So that's going to be our second circuit. So we're going to start with the lunges with rotation in about 10 seconds. And remember, you can adjust these as you need. 10-second countdown. Go. Great job. So next up, we have the bird dogs. So 10-second countdown. And then you are bird dogging. Great job. All right, so now we have our wall sit, which, like I said, for the wall sit, you can do, I'm going to call it 15-second increments. So you can do just 15 seconds, you can do 30 seconds, or you can do the full 45. So 10-second countdown. You're at 15 seconds. Thirty seconds. And rest. So, last but not least, we have push-ups for 45 seconds. I just briefly lost where I put the remote. Oops. Okay, so 10-second countdown, and then push-ups. And grab some water. So we have one more round. All right, so recap of what's in circuit 2. We have the rotational lunges, bird dogs, wall sit, and push-ups. And you have 3 more activities, and we're done for today. So let's get ready to get started. It's our final round. So give everyone a few more seconds. All right, so rotational lunges, 10-second countdown, and we are going. Go. Great job. Okay, so next up we have bird dogs. So 10-second countdown, and then bird dogs. the wall sit. Remember, I'm going to tell you halfway through, or sorry, I'm going to tell you 15-second intervals where we are time-wise. So 10-second countdown. And go. Fifteen seconds. Thirty seconds. And last but not least, we have push-ups. All right, so any variation you'd like. 10-second countdown. All right, so grab some water. We have 3 things left, which we'll do 30-second intervals of. Okay, so number 1, we're going to do 30 seconds of crunches or sit-ups. Any variation you want for 30 seconds. So you can do knee up crunches, knees bent crunches, you can do crunches with one leg extended. You can do full sit-ups where you're coming all the way up. Anything you want. We're going to go for 30 seconds, and then we're going to switch it up. So 10-second countdown. Go. Great job. Okay. So next up, we're going to do penguins. So you are laying on the floor, your knees bent, feet are about hip width apart, maybe a little further away from your butt than during glute bridges. You're going to come up slightly to engage your core, and then reach for your heels. So you'll kind of look like a waddling penguin, hence the name. So we're going to do 30 seconds and 10-second countdown. Go. Great job. And last but not least, we're gonna do single leg balance for 30 seconds per leg. We did this, I think, probably about a month ago at this point, at the end of one of the classes. So you can either stand and just slightly lift one leg off the ground. You can even like hold on to something if you need to, like a chair or the wall. Or you can do where you're reaching, different directions. So it's a little more dynamic and stabilizing. Or you can do standing with one leg like this, 90-degree angle, engaging your core. So we're gonna do 30 seconds of balance per leg and then you're done for the day. So 10-second countdown. And go. And other leg, 10-second countdown. Great job. And that is it for class today. So, as always, thank you for attending Movement Mondays. I am Alex Weaver. I am coach and owner of Alien Athletes. Thank you to Thunder Mist for sponsoring this class. I guess the next time I'll see everyone is in 2021. So I hope you have a safe and happy end to your 2020. And I'll see you all next Monday, same time, same place. Thanks for coming.